Good morning. It's Saturday, and we're coming to you live from El Paso, Texas. Welcome to the Wellness Wave. I hope you're having a fantastic start to the weekend. If you're on the West Coast, you're probably just waking up. If you're in the Midwest, like us, you probably had 2 or 3 cups of coffee. And if you're on the East Coast, you're halfway through your weekend chores, right? We're just going to wait for a few minutes for people to sign on. And I wonder if everyone had a chance to watch episode 4, Eating for the Wrong Reasons, because we are going to discuss that class today. I'm Kristen Finley, registered licensed dietitian and the owner of BeWell365, here today to increase your knowledge of health and wellness. Oh, I see Zach has signed in. Hey, Zach. Today is episode 4A of our March Q&A and food medicine discussion on blueberries, which is number 2 of 14 superfoods that we'll be discussing over the next year. So if you have any questions or comments, please enter them into the chat at this time. And while you're doing that, let's briefly review episode 4, Eating for the Wrong Reasons. First, we want to remind everyone that this class is not meant to address or treat serious eating disorders like anorexia, bulimia, or binge eating. If you're suffering from these eating disorders, please contact your physician or a licensed professional counselor. You may also contact the National Alliance for Eating Disorders at 866-662-1235. I'll repeat that number, 866-662-1235, from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. So we discussed in episode 4 the importance of eating for hunger, not emotion, the emotional eating cycle, the most common triggers for emotional or stress eating, and great ideas to take back control. Emotional eating is when we consume food in response to feelings and emotions rather than hunger. We reviewed the emotional eating cycle and the most common emotional or stress eating triggers, which are anger, hopelessness, lack of control, feeling unappreciated, and boredom. We explored a variety of ways to take back control, and we reiterated the use of journaling to kickstart lifestyle change and stay inspired. So let's see if we have any questions or comments. We have a one from Zach. So it's not really a question, he says, but he has a hard time when he's in a lot of pain from medical conditions and wanting to eat for comfort. And that's very, very common. The most important thing when eating for comfort, which we all do for one reason or another, is to have some reasonable snacks and comfort food available. So we're not always reaching for, the chips and the cookies, which is okay. So if I am reaching for chips or cookies, let's think about what's a little bit better choice. So I think in the class we talked about sun chips or even baked chips. Cookies, maybe instead of that, Oreo cookie or really processed over-the-counter type cookie that's full of junk, maybe from the bakery at the grocery store, an oatmeal raisin cookie, instead of that double chunk chocolate chip cookie, right? But sometimes that's what we want, and sometimes that's okay. Popcorn is an excellent snack. Just be careful that you're not dumping on, half a pound of butter and, too much salt. Zach has mentioned the product Skinny Pop, and I believe that is like a lower calorie, and I think it might even be a little bit lower in sodium. So the important thing to remember about emotional or stress eating is, like I mentioned, we're all going to do it. You know, you can't eliminate stress or emotional eating, but you can take back some control. So being aware that you're doing it, I think we talked about that in the class, uh, and then making a decision. Well, okay, you know what? I'm going to go for that chocolate chip chunk, double chunk cookie. Or maybe once in a while, you know what? I'm going to do some deep breathing, or you know what? I'm going to take a walk instead. So once in a while, if we're able to make a little bit different decision, then it doesn't become such a cycle. Remember the emotional eating cycle. You know, we feel stressed out, or you know, we're feeling unappreciated, or we're just plain bored. So off we go to the pantry. And so it's learning to recognize that and know that sometimes we're going to go for that emotional food, and sometimes we're going to make a little bit different decision. You know, it's taking back control. Some people are so out of control with that emotional and stress eating that, you know, it's become a serious issue in, you know, managing their health. So let's see if we have any more questions or comments. I don't see anything else. So if there are no more questions, we'll move on to the second portion of the episode. Oh, wait, we do have something else here in the comment section. How about fresh fruit or vegetable with ranch or something to dip in? Well, that's absolutely, you know, perfect. For one reason, none of us get enough fruits and vegetables, and especially if you're struggling with high blood pressure, we want about 9 servings a day of fruits and vegetables in that half-cup portion. So definitely, if once in a while you can choose that, or, you know, your favorite fruit, that is an excellent decision. So we're going to move on to, oh, here we have another one. Is peanut butter a good dip choice? Definitely. An excellent snack is a balanced snack with a carbohydrate and a protein. Peanut butter is such a wonderful complement to a snack food, such as a nice whole grain Triscuit or wheat thins cracker with peanut butter, or some celery with peanut butter. It's just a great addition of protein to that snack. A slice of whole wheat toast with some peanut butter. So look for, again, the word natural in your peanut butter selection. That usually means it's just a little bit healthier. So let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. I love this part of the talk. Today it's going to be about blueberries, superfood number 2. Now, most of my information comes from the book Superfoods. This is by Pratt and Matthews. And I've spoken numerous times on these superfoods, and also conducted grocery store tours focusing on these foods, and that's a lot of fun. So let's get started. The closest sidekicks or alternatives to blueberries are bilberries from Europe, huckleberries from the Pacific Northwest, and whortleberries from North America. Additional sidekicks are purple grapes, cranberries, boysenberries, raspberries, strawberries, currants, blackberries, and cherries. Blueberries are native to North America and were an important part of the Native Americans' diet. The original name was starfruit because of the star shape at the blossom end. I'll show you a second picture here. So you can see that star there. Because of their high levels of antioxidants, Native Americans actually pounded blueberries into meat as a preservative, which slowed the rate of spoilage. They brewed the entire plant to make medicines to treat diarrhea and ease childbirth. Blueberries contain quite a few healthy components, and we'll start with phytonutrients, which are plant nutrients that provide health benefits beyond basic nutrition. Polyphenols are plant compounds that act as antioxidants, and specifically anthocyanins, ellagic acid, quercetin, and catechins. Blueberries contain multiple vitamins, including vitamin C, E, and some B vitamins, multiple minerals, including potassium and iron. They also contain some carotenoids, which are antioxidants that enhance the immune system. Blueberries have impressive levels of phytoestrogens, which may help menopause, cardiovascular, and bone health. Of all the polyphenols, anthocyanins are preeminent and are from the flavonoid family of polyphenols. So they give blueberries that beautiful blue color. So that means the darker the blueberries, the more anthocyanins. Wild blueberries have 5 different anthocyanins, which, as we said, provide antioxidant and also anti-inflammatory abilities. I'm not going to try to pronounce these. Wild blueberries contain the most antioxidants of any fruit. 13,427 antioxidants per cup. Compare that to cranberries, just under 9,000. Blackberries, a bit under 8,000, and raspberries and strawberries, both around 6,000. Anthocyanins are key players that neutralize free radicals, which are the culprits that damage cell membranes and DNA. And that's what ultimately causes many of the degenerative diseases that plague us as we age. So how do they do this? Well, anthocyanins work synergistically with vitamin C and other antioxidants. They strengthen the capillary system, the tiny, delicate blood vessels, by promoting production of quality collagen, which is the building block of tissues. Anthocyanins promote vasodilation, which is the widening of blood vessels, and inhibit platelet aggregation, which is an aspirin-like effect on blood clot formation. Research suggests that blueberries slow and reverse degenerative diseases associated with an aging brain. So for this reason, they have the nicknames of brain berries and youth berries, which is key because experts predict that by year 2050, approximately 23% of Americans will be over the age of 65. And lastly, ellagic acid blocks metabolic pathways that promote cancer. So the Native Americans were right about the blueberries' ability to promote digestive health. They're rich in pectin, a soluble fiber. And so that means that blueberries work to relieve both diarrhea and constipation. Moreover, the tannins in blueberries reduce inflammation in the digestive system, and then the polyphenols have also been shown to have antibacterial properties. The season for blueberries is late spring to early fall, so it's different in different parts of the world. North America is May to September with peak harvest in July and August. The southern regions, which would be us here in El Paso, May to June. Midwest and Northeast will be June to September. The West has the longest season, That's April to October. South America is November to March, and Canada is July to October. So depending on where you live, the peak months are a little bit different. We can buy blueberries fresh, frozen, canned, dried, juice, pureed, and fruit spread. So we'll start with fresh, which is available in organic. And of great importance is that you do not wash the berries until you're ready to use them. And if you must store them, then pick out the moldy and discard the crushed fruit first. And then you can store for 1 to 2 days in a container that allows for air circulation. Frozen is available in cultivated or wild varieties. And if you would like to freeze the fresh berries, again, do not wash before freezing. And then you just scatter them on a cookie sheet, remove the moldy or crushed fruit. And once they're frozen, then they can be put into airtight bags for storage up to 10 months, but best if used within 6 months for optimal flavor and texture. Canned blueberries come packed in water, its own juice, and light or heavy syrup. And of course, water and its own juice are best. So let me show you some pictures. These are blueberries packed in water. And these are packed in 100% blueberry juice. So these are the two that are the best selections for canned blueberries. We have blueberries packed in light syrup. I couldn't find a picture packed in heavy syrup, but I did find canned blueberries for pie filling or toppings. So if you're going to make a blueberry pie, choose Duncan Hines Simply Pie Filling and Topping. It's very clean. It's just blueberries, water, sugar, cornstarch, and citric acid. Dried berries contain only about 20% of the phytonutrients and much higher sugar levels than the fresh variety. 1/4 cup of dried blueberries is about 130 calories. That's not very much compared to a cup of fresh blueberries coming in at about 84 calories. So it's a very big difference. It's not just from the dehydration process, but it's also added sugars. For juice, you're going to want to always choose 100% juice, not from concentrate is the best. And you can see the ingredient there is just 100% blueberries. The second choice would be 100% blueberry juice from concentrate. It's just that the concentrate process removes some nutrients and fiber, and of course some processes more than others. But beware of the word cocktail in the name of the juice, which automatically means added sugar and several different juices. You can see the ingredients up there. Puree. So I never knew that this existed. Let me show you. You can see it there. Apparently in 2019, the Oregon Fruit Products released 16 newly branded canned fruit purees. So these are packaged for home and the small-scale beverage manufacturing market. They add flavor, aroma, and texture of real fruit to, get this, beer, wine, spirits, kombucha, soda, or any number of fermented or flavored beverages. And lastly is fruit spread, commonly called jams or jellies. Make sure you are buying 100% fruit, sweetened with only 100% juice, no added sugars. So I have found two that meet the criteria. St. Dalfort is one, usually at Whole Foods or Sprouts, and then Polaner, which I used to find at Walmart, and then the pandemic came, but it appears that the brand is coming back. Both of these are nice selections, and they're so wonderful because it's just like adding a serving of real fruit to your whole wheat toast or your waffle. So the recommended intake to acquire all these health benefits that we've been talking about is at least 1 cup of blueberries per day. And blueberries are considered low in calories, with 1 cup coming in at about 84 calories, as we mentioned. But it might be difficult to eat that many blueberries on a daily basis. So let's talk about some tips on how to sneak and poke them into your daily diet. Sprinkle on yogurt and wheat germ, and granola is optional. Add to oatmeal and cold cereal. You can make a smoothie with a cup of plant milk, a cup of berries, a dash of 100% vanilla, a couple of cups of ice cubes, or some ice cream if you want to make like a dessert. A handful on top of ice cream. Remember, when you're buying ice cream, look for the word natural in the name. Breyer's Natural Vanilla is a good one. Fresh blueberries with a slice of cheese for a snack. 4 ounces of 100% blueberry juice for breakfast, or the 100% fruit spread on your toaster or waffle, as we mentioned. Dried blueberries added to the fruit and nut snack mixes. Fold your blueberries into pancake or waffle batter. Bake into muffins or cake, and go ahead and have that slice of blueberry pie after dinner tonight. If you have any other ideas, please feel free to enter them into the chat section. The author of the book, Superfoods, that I showed you earlier, says the 3 major superfoods are blueberries, spinach, and salmon. So try to eat blueberries and spinach on as many days of the week that you can, and salmon or its sidekick at least 2 times a week because of the mercury. We'll be learning about salmon a little bit later this year. So the author says that these 3 foods alone will change our life and health. Well, that's all we have for today. Episode 5 will be posted on the website Saturday, April 12th, and it's called Cancer Prevention and Control, because April is National Cancer Control Month. If you have family or friends who are struggling to make lifestyle change, please share our website, BeWell365.com, and encourage them to join the wellness wave. Thanks for connecting with us today. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.